Hi everyone, my name is Kes and I collect. That was extra. I realized that I haven't given my full opinion on Generation 3 yet. What? I'm probably very late with this video because most people have already given their opinions on it. But let's just do a one-on-one to talk about Generation 3 for a second because it's been out for a while now and they're slowly starting to get in Europe. I can't wait to see them in stores, so that's gonna be really exciting. But let's talk about them for a second because I own two now, so I can kind of give a better opinion on them. Instead of just looking at pictures online, I can kind of give you a more in-depth opinion about them since I own them. First of all, I'm gonna say it. Based on the dolls only, I like Generation 3 better than Generation 1. Now, I know, I am an OG fan. I love the original Monster High, but there were always some things that I was really missing in the dolls, like different body types, different heights. Those were things that I always thought were super important and that I always wanted to see in Monster High dolls, because I want more diversity in dolls. I think it's epic. And more extreme features like bigger ears, because Draculaura in Gen 3 has bigger ears now, which I absolutely love. Those tiny little details just make it better in my opinion. Monster High Gen 1 dolls are awesome and I love them still. My whole room is mostly Generation 1, of course, because they have more dolls. And I will always have an emotional attachment to Generation 1 because I grew up on that and they helped me through so many things. I will never let go of that. But I am open-minded to a new generation, and this generation brings a whole new perspective to certain things. Different issues, different things going on that I think are also important to discuss. I watched the series, of course, and I love it. It's a little bit more light, I feel like, and it's a little faster, which kind of suits this generation. But I think it is amazing in its own way. Let's talk about the dolls first, because I think that's really important. Now, when we first saw them and we first saw the leaked images, I was not necessarily impressed. I really disliked Claudine. I did not like the dog nose. I thought it was unnecessary and it was like, what? That's not the original Claudine. But this Claudine has a completely different personality than Generation 1 Claudine, which we need to kind of keep in mind. The changes make sense. This is a new Claudine. This is a more sporty Claudine and it wants to be accepted and loved. So it's a different personality, different person, a different universe. So we have to keep that in mind as well. I fell in love with Draculaura when I saw her. She looked amazing and I love that they gave her a curvier body. I do kind of, Draculaura's not my favorite character anymore because I usually like the really preppy, happy characters. So Frankie is now my favorite character, even though they are not my favorite doll necessarily. I do like their fashion and their pieces, and the prosthetic leg is amazing, but Draculaura, the color palette just is amazing still. Like black, pink, and white. Can't really go wrong with that. Now, when I saw people doing reviews, opening them up, taking pictures of them, I literally fell in love. And I think the moment when I realized, okay, I like Generation 3 better, is when I saw people doing restyles. It looks so good. People are freaking talented. Like, they use Bratz fashion, LOL OMG fashion, they use all kinds of fashion pieces. I love restyles of Generation 1 too, but it's just something about the body types and the faces and the face sculpts that makes Generation 3 better. More diverse. That's what I'm trying to say. I unboxed Claudine. I have her review up on my channel as well. She is my least favorite from Generation 3, not gonna lie. Never really liked animal prints. Claudine was never really my favorite fashion base, not even Generation 1. So I was kind of expecting that Generation 3 Claudine was not gonna be my favorite. But I love her. As soon as I unboxed her, I love her so much. She is so cute. And honestly, I don't mind the dog nose anymore. I think it's super cute. It suits her. It just suits her. Also, something I really missed in Generation 1 was molded on things. That's something they did in Generation 2 though, which is the only positive thing I have to say about Generation 2. Sorry. I love molded on stuff because it gives them more personality and more diversity. I'm gonna say that word a lot today. She has molded on fur. She has molded on fur on the sides of her head too. Her ears are a lot bigger and I think they're so cute. It's more of an animated look, I would say. And the body types are amazing. Of course, it makes it more difficult. They can't really share clothes. At least not all of them can share clothes with each other. I just love this. And the accessories she came with are adorable. Those tiny little details are definitely something I look for in a doll line, and Monster High ate. They ate. I can't, I love it. I love everything about it. I'm not a hair expert. I know this is polypropylene hair. I honestly don't mind it. I think it's super soft. I washed it a couple times and I used some conditioner and I don't mind the way it looks or feels at all. But then again, I'm not a hair expert, so dolls speaking, I am obsessed with them. And also the extra articulation point. Yes, we needed that. And I also want to say that I kind of like it that they're not all wearing heels. This is perfect because realistically speaking, not everyone, especially not high school students, wear heels every day. And to see a female doll wearing flat shoes or sneakers or stuff like that, it's so much more realistic and it looks good. And it suits them. It suits them. Because I feel like, yeah, if Claudine's gonna run around all the time because she's sporty and she's a werewolf and she's like doing activities all the time, she would not want to be wearing heels the whole day, you know? And I just love the tiny details. It's super cute. I also have Draculaura and she is still in the box because I do want to do a review of her. Even though it's gonna take a while for me to unbox her, it also builds up the excitement, I guess. Now this is my favorite doll from Generation 3, so I'm really excited to open her up, and I love the split dye. They're really playing on the trends, which I think is really smart. She's so I also can't wait to restyle her. I'm getting so much inspiration from Instagram and just people who take pictures of them. It's so exciting. So doll based, I'm really happy, really satisfied, beyond my expectations, really happy about it. Of course, some clothes could be more goth or like darker, although I do have to say, you know, a lot of people say, well, Monster High used to be a lot more goth. Was it really ever goth? I mean, there were some dolls that were kind of, you know, taking elements from that, but I don't think Monster High throughout all its years was goth. Like at the end of like 2014, 15 and stuff, it kind of got more preppy. I don't know, I like the colorful way that Monster High Generation 3 is making the clothes now and stuff, because I like colorful things too. Maybe in the future we'll get a doll that's more like gothic or more darker. I would really like to see that as well. Now let's talk about the movie, because the movie is also something that is pretty important to this new generation. Before we even got to see anything of the animated series, we got a live action movie with the main characters and the whole school and everything. I personally loved the movie. It reminded me a lot of Descendants. Now I know Descendants can be kind of quirky and like kind of, you know, not necessarily the best made, but I was impressed by this movie, yes, especially for Nickelodeon. It was pretty good. I liked it. The story went kind of fast. I feel like they could have dragged it a little longer, and honestly, I'm a huge predictor of like stories. I did not predict this for some reason. I predicted Wednesday Addams, but I did not predict this one. By the way, Wednesday Addams, the Netflix series, is kind of similar to the Monster High movie storyline. Just saying. Of course, Wednesday Addams is more for adults and not children. But, and this was also the first time that we got to see their personalities, which is when I fell in love with Frankie. Amazing. First of all, Cece, great actor. You did an amazing job, but the character Frankie was kind of how I always wanted Frankie to be, because Frankie in Generation 1, she was okay, and I used to hate Frankie from Generation 1. Like, legit, I hated her. Maybe that was because she was the main character. I have no idea why. At one point, it kind of shifted from, I'm new, I'm 16 days old, to I just want to include everyone, which is a great personality trait to have. But this Frankie from Generation 3 really focuses on, like, I know random facts, because I'm built of multiple people, and kind of more on that topic, which I think is way more interesting. So they did a really good job on that. Now, Draculaura does witchcraft now. I personally love that because I have a theory, okay? So we all know that Generation 1 Draculaura was actually human and was bitten by Dracula, and Dracula adopted Draculaura, which is how she became a vampire in the first place. What if, because like witchcraft is a filthy human habit in Generation 3, what if her mom was a witch? I would love that. And it's also interesting that she is a vampire and a witch, so you can be two things at once. That's pretty cool to me too. But that does mean that we're probably not going to see witches at Monster High. And I'm really interested to see where this story is gonna go, because we will probably get 3 parts just like Descendants. We already know there's gonna be a sequel. So I'm excited. I'm excited where this is gonna go, and I'm excited who the person is in the end scene. Honestly, I would find it really epic if that was the evil queen from Ever After High and we would get a crossover movie after all. Maybe my hopes are too high, I don't know. And I want to talk a little bit about the director too, because there was a lot of controversy and a lot of hate. And I might get hated for this opinion, and that is completely fine, but I truly believe that people can change, and I don't think we should blame someone for something they did like 7 years ago. So I think that's kind of unfair. That doesn't mean that the things that he did in the past are okay. It just means that people can grow and people can evolve into better humans, you know. Maybe he made the Monster High movie as a redemption. Who knows? No one knows. But I think it's unfair to say those things and keep on pushing it like, don't watch the movie or you support this and this and this. I hate labeling. Like, if you do this, you're that. If you do this, you're that. Why all the hate? Calm down. When I expressed my opinion on the whole situation, I got lots of people who responded to me like, thank you for saying this, because I am too scared to say this, otherwise I'll get cancelled. And I think that is something that is what this world is growing into right now. Cancel culture, I do not agree with it, and I'm not gonna participate in that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm gonna express how I actually feel and not go on this hate train, because I think it is the most toxic thing that we have in this community. And not only in this community, but in this whole world. If you don't join the hate, you're the person who is wrong. And to talk about Claudine's actress being too light and not dark enough, isn't that exactly what we're trying to avoid? It's kind of weird to me, because sometimes I feel like I'm kind of really disconnected from this generation, which is okay, because I'm 25 years old. I'm not, you know, a teenager anymore, even though I am in a community that has a lot of teenagers. I feel like it's unfair to hate on an actress' skin color for not being dark enough, because your generation 1 Claudine might have had a darker skin, which in reality they were pretty much identical. It was literally just lighting. It's kind of going too far, and I feel like we need to, especially as Monster High fans, come on, what is the message that Monster High stands for? We're gonna accept everyone, right? We're gonna spread kindness and love and not hate on each other. Now, let's talk about the animated series, because I'm excited for that. I've already seen a few episodes, and it's really exciting. It's a really exciting series. It gets more interesting every episode. We get more characters introduced, which makes me like, oh my gosh, there are gonna be dolls of them, probably, like Howleen and Claude, and those 2 werewolves that are like kind of I don't know, they're funny, they're really funny. And I don't know, also background characters, I'm really hoping they're gonna make that Iris, because she reminds me of Billie Eilish and I love the way she looks. I know she looks nothing like the original Iris, but I honestly don't care, because it's more, you know, it suits this generation, and I want to see that style. It looks epic to me. It's so exciting to look at these new episodes, because as a kid, I was watching Monster High, and when a new episode came out, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then you got so excited to see something new, and that's exactly what's happening right now, you know? The storyline is also super interesting. So obviously, Claudine is the main character now. In Generation 1, it was Frankie. In Generation 2, it was Draculaura, and now it is Claudine. And I don't really mind. I actually think I like, well, I always liked Claudine, but in the animated series, I thought Claudine was really epic. Also, can we talk about the fact that Claudine doesn't shave? She does not shave in Generation 3, which I think is so good and so important. There was some controversy in Generation 1 when Claudine came with a razor. Now everyone should do what they want to do with their body. And with that being said, I think it's epic if she makes the choice to not shave, because she's a werewolf, she grows hair. She doesn't want to shave, so she doesn't do it. Which I think is important to tell to little girls too. Do something if it makes you feel comfortable. If you're doing something against your will that is about your own body, don't do it. Do what you want to do. Important message right there. What I'm hoping to see in this new generation is to see LGBTQ plus relationships being so normalized that it's not going to be a big deal that they're going to talk about it. But maybe just see them in the background, or maybe I could see Claudine and Cleo getting together. Definitely. That would be really cute. Just normalizing it so much, and I think that's something that would suit Monster High really well. And they're already doing things in that direction, you know? Frankie is non-binary, which is already a step in the right direction, so I feel like we could be getting there someday. My hope is also for them to make more Monster High dolls with different body types and different heights, and just more characters. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this, and yeah, So that was kind of my opinion on what we've known so far. I'm really excited to see what Monster High is gonna do next, and I hope you guys are too. And if not, there's always Generation 1, and they're still continuing Generation 1 storyline, so don't worry, there's plenty for you too. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope everyone liked it, and I see you guys in my next video. Bye!